So the next test we're going to do is the overhead deep squat. So for this one, I'm going to have Tyler hold on to the golf club or a dowel rod or a broom or whatever you have at home. I'm going to have him lift overhead. There's a few things I'm looking for here. So first I'm looking for shoulder mobility. Next I'm looking for thoracic extension. I'm looking for hip flexion, knee flexion, and the ability of the ankles to move, okay? So here we go. So what I'm gonna ask Tyler to do is to perform a deep squat. I don't want the dowel rod or the club, whatever you have in your hand, to go past the toes. I also wanna make sure that his femur, which is the big hip bone here, goes below the level of the tibia, which is the knee bone. So go ahead, Tyler. So you're gonna see from a side view. So Tyler, just hold that position if you can. So we've got the tibia here, the femur below the level of the tibia. He's got the dowel rod. If you can see, it's past the point of the toes. So he's gonna come back up. Everything good except for the overhead mobility. So what I'm gonna have him do now, since that's a failed test at that point, is I'm gonna have him put both hands together like this and put them around the neck with thumbs down. I'm gonna have you perform the exact same test, this time with no dowel rod overhead. So at this point, if he's able to do so, that means we've got an upper extremity limitation or a thoracic extension limitation. So from there, so go ahead one more time, Tyler. You can see that he's able to comfortably get down, the femur being below the level of the tibia and the thoracic extension being proper. So now, Tyler, what I want you to do is I actually want this heel to come up as you come down. This would be a common restriction that we have. A lot of dorsiflexion, which is the angle of the foot coming up, is an impairment for many golfers. If dorsiflexion is a restriction, what that's gonna do is during your downswing, you're actually gonna early extend and come up off the golf ball, and that's gonna really make it difficult to hit the golf ball consistently every time. So at that point, what I would do with Tyler is I'd actually have the shaft of the club 4 inches. We're gonna get in a kneeling position, Tyler. So 4 inches from the foot, and I'm gonna see, are you able with the heel down to bring the knee forward and hit the golf club? So go ahead, Tyler, with the right. If he's able to do so while he keeps his heel down, that means that's a negative test for that one. So that's great. So then we're gonna check the left side too, and Tyler, if you would just fail this one for me. So at this point, if you can see, the heel is gonna come up. He's unable to properly bring the knee to the shaft of the golf club due to the dorsiflexion range of motion limitation. At that point, you'd need to come see us so that we can do some Taylor curl joint mobilization and also teach you some soft tissue pliability techniques to increase the mobility of the soleus and also the gastrocnemius. So if you're having any of these complications in knee flexion, hip flexion, dorsiflexion, thoracic extension, or overhead mobility with the shoulders, visit us at Advanced Physical Therapy of Little Rock, North Little Rock, and Benton today.